Hey, what's going on there, folks? Earthmaster here, just after 9 o'clock here on the West Coast, 9:01 p.m. to be exact, March 25th, 2018. Yeah, like I said, 9:01 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here, and had quite a bit of earthquake activity today around the globe and over the past 24 or so hours, including, well, above 6 magnitude earthquakes. Had 2 at 6.3, and also the latest one being a 6.4 earthquake near Banda Sea region, Indonesia area, at a 6.4. Ultimately, we've had quite a bit of activity, including that deep earthquake here near Ecuador at the depth of 750 kilometers. Now that still stands according to the EMSC website right here. You can see the latest one being, let me refresh that and show you guys, 3.8, as you can see right there near the coast of Ecuador. 750 kilometers, still holding pretty strong there. Source once again provided by this data site right there in Ecuador, some geologist place, I'm guessing. Hopefully they're accurate, but anyway, yeah, not a big earthquake, but rather deep. You know, and like I say, I've never seen anything this deep before in my studies of earthquakes and whatnot. I did go on Wikipedia and show you guys this earlier, but I will again since this is a new update video. Once again, this is from Wikipedia. Notable deep focus earthquakes. The strongest deep focus earthquake in seismic seismic record was the magnitude 8.3. Okhotsk, probably not going to pronounce that right. Once again, sea earthquake that occurred at a depth of 609 kilometers in 2013. Now, once again, that's a 8.3 earthquake. The deepest earthquake ever recorded was a small 4.2 earthquake in Vanuatu at a depth of 735 kilometers in 2004. Now, I did go back and look at a couple more different websites out here on the internet. And this site right here is from, it's called earth.northwestern.education. Now, I'm not 100% sure how accurate these folks are, but let me adjust my position here. I've got my arms cranking up here. So this is it says right here, the depth of historical events with NOAA, depth 670 kilometers or greater, okay? You see quite a bit of activity here. Now, I went down the list and did see these right here. 1950, September and December 1950. They're in Peru, Brazil region at 750 kilometers. But then I went down a little bit further. In 1954, they had a series of really deep earthquakes near Japan at 800 kilometers below the surface. 3 of them, to be exact, all in November of 1994. And that's, no magnitude is associated with it. You can see there it's blank. But then again, how accurate, you know, was their instruments and their equipment back then? There's, you know, they're stating 800 kilometers. That's rather deep. And way back in 1954, it said we have the advanced equipment like we do today. So it's questionable. But I did want to include this right here in 1963 as well, 5.9 at a depth of 786 kilometers near the Caroline Basin, wherever that is at. But yeah, so I went over this and studied it a little bit, but you know, most of the recent data suggests that, and according to Wikipedia too, that the deepest one was a 4.2 in Vanuatu at 735 kilometers back in 2004. So, you know, I could sit here all day and go through tons and tons of sites, and you know, like I say, it's questionable. All sites are questionable, and you have to look at the facts and see, you know, exactly what kind of equipment they may have had way back then. 1954 is a long time ago, so to speak, especially with the age of electronics that we have now, and the sensitivity of equipment is way better than I can only imagine what they had back then. So, you know, it's just you know, it's hard to say. Either way, you know, I'm going to call it the deepest earthquake that I've ever seen, okay? and I've been on here since 2007. Somebody did mention, they left a comment on my video stating that there was another earthquake at 750 kilometers as well. I am not seeing that, so I'm not 100% sure what that viewer was talking about there, but I went back over here on the GeoNet and checked their site, went back on the EMSC site, checked their site, and I'm not seeing anything in the way of another earthquake at that level, aside from the one that happened today there in well, near Ecuador. So here's the 6.3s, one in Papua New Guinea, 6.3 in Southeastern Ridge. This was yesterday, 324. And then the latest one, larger earthquake, a 6.4 near Indonesia, out there in the Banda Sea. So that's 3 6s once again. Interesting activity. Did want to go here and show you guys the layers of the earth here. It's interesting to look at this stuff here. You know, we really don't think about what's below us. You know, we think, well, there's a little bit of dirt below us, right? There's some gravel and bedrock, you know, down a couple hundred feet. But this is in miles, folks. This is how big the planet is. It's huge. It really is, if you think about it. The planet itself is huge. It's deep, and there's a lot to it. You know, you got the crust, the part that we walk on, which is very, very thin in terms of Earth and geology. You got the lithosphere up here. It goes down about 100 kilometers, guys, and then you got the asthenosphere that goes down about 700. So that 750 kilometer quake that happened in or off the coast of Ecuador occurred down in this layer called the mesosphere. It goes down, goes down 2,800 and what is that, 85 kilometers below the surface there. So that earthquake did take place in this area they call rigid, right? Rigid. You got liquid down here and some more rigid inner core activity down here. There's a lot of different maps that you can look at. They all basically say about the same thing. But nonetheless, definitely some activity going on down there, folks, and not for sure what to think. But nonetheless, it's a 3.8, nothing huge. Somewhat small earthquake. But the depth is what blows me away. And like I say, we've seen a lot of deeper movement on the globe that we happen to be living on here over the last few days. I'm going to go back here an extended period in time and take a look at a lot of deep activity out there, folks. Last 7 days. Most of the deep activity occurs, of course, everyone knows, down here south of the Fiji Islands region. I've always seen it that way. It always happens for some reason. A little bit of activity over in Indonesia that was deeper, but most of the deep activity confined over here to the southwestern part of the Pacific Plate. But now we did see a little bit of deeper movement. We had this other ring right here, this ring down in the South America region, south of the Ecuador area, that occurred pretty deep as well. Not as deep as that 750 kilometer one, but definitely deep. You got the 3.8 up here, the 750 kilometer one. That's this tallest skinny ring right here that's floating off the side of the screen there. It's a lot of deep activity, folks. You know, just it's hard to say exactly what's going on down there. You know, that's a long ways away. And I really don't think anyone really knows exactly what it all means. There's some people, I'm not going to mention names, but there are some YouTubers out there that definitely going to say one thing, and that's their way, and that's what's going to happen. But it's definitely not 100% accurate. You know, they don't really know. They just want to get all those views and whatnot, and they want to make it big time. Kind of like that song by oh, who is that? Peter Gabriel, Big Time. Yeah. I'm not interested in making it big time, folks. I'm just here to provide data, provide reporting, go out and chase storms, provide the viewer with try to do exceptional viewing, exceptional data, and accurate and factual information. That's why I try to shoot for here on this channel. I do not want to fearmonger. I do not want to provide false data or send out any kind of links to some questionable websites where they may fearmonger a little bit. So that's just me. You know, I'm the Earthmaster. I do what I think is right. I don't want to fool anybody. I don't want to steer anybody the wrong way. So I try to provide information that is correct and factual. And I go to sources that are accurate for the most part, although the USGS sometimes does not post things when they should. You know, that deep earthquake there is nonetheless missing from their data. Let's see if I were to do one day, all magnitudes once again. It's gone. The Ecuador earthquake that we're discussing is nowhere to be found. But, you know, who's to say, you know, what's going on? It is a weekend. You know, USGS are human. They're people. But, you know, maybe they just haven't posted it. We'll see what happens tomorrow. See if they get to it. Here's the last 48 hours of tremor map here. Quieted down quite a bit. You can go the last 6 hours and see the activity dwindling down for the most part. Not a whole lot of activity up there on the Cascadia subduction zone. Yellowstone National Park overview of the seismograph station shows pretty calm conditions out there. Pretty quiet, really quiet actually. I haven't seen it this quiet since that storm started there, since that swarm started there, what, about a month ago or so. But things are definitely quieting down and looking pretty good. California, I want to cover them real quick, and also Nevada region. You know, it looks like a normal California day, folks. Nothing out of the ordinary. A little bit of activity down here that's popping in my eye. South of the, what is that valley down there? Not for sure, but nothing big. Just a couple 3.0s in the southern part near Bakersfield and whatnot. East of there, I guess. Kind of up in the hills and up in the mountains. But other than that, you know what? It's another day here on Earth. If you do want to check those out, the only thing I did, folks, was finding out the information as far as deep earthquakes go. You can pretty much just type into Google deepest earthquake ever recorded. Well, and then you got to be wise about what sites you look to, because it did lead me to a couple YouTube channels that, like I said, I'm not going to mention names, but they claim that there's been deepest earthquakes last year. You know, and I'm not going to agree or disagree with them, but I don't see the information there. It's possible there was a deep earthquake that was reported and then got revised to a lower depth, but or a higher depth, I should say. Yeah, the information's out there. The internet's free. It's lots of information, but you got to be focused on where you get your information from, and make sure you don't go to any bad sources out there. It's a crazy world, and people love to fearmonger. People love to stir people up and get them all excited. But I'm here to tell you, it's just another day here on this planet Earth. You know, but as always, like I say, you must be prepared. You gotta be prepared, because anything can happen at any given time. No one's going to predict an earthquake. No one's going to say, hey, you know what, guys? Earthquake's going to strike Seattle tomorrow. You know, the big one. It's not going to happen. It may happen as I'm talking, or it may happen 20, 30 years from now. No one can predict earthquakes, folks. That's it. Anyway, I think I covered everything pretty much I wanted to cover. I will be keeping an eye on the Ecuador earthquake, see if the USGS posts it, and see if they revise it, or see what happens here over the next 24 hours. You know, it's Sunday. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. They're human. They're people. They have jobs. They want to enjoy their time off from work like I do. You know, no one wants to be there 24/7. So these people are human. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. See if they revise it. But either way, that deep earthquake is definitely one of the deepest ones I've seen since I've been doing this earthquake data reporting. So Anyway, folks, have a great night out there. Live Yellowstone webcam looks to be good. I'm going to go outside here and shoot a couple shots of the moon. It's about, what do we got, 63% full, according to the moon chart down there on the Earthmaster Live data thing right there. So I will go out there, put a sweater on, of course, because it's getting a little chilly, and take some shots of the moon and post it up on my Earthmaster Facebook page. So make sure you look for that. Like I say, give me about 20-30 minutes, and I'll have that up there on the social media network. All right, folks, have a good night. We'll chat at you tomorrow.